You see, we're fighting our ego. Can't let it fuck with me, amigos. Keep yourself in check. Don't spread no disrespect.
What's up, world? I am Seafood Joe.
I'm Briley.
And we Blight Love, man. And this is another episode of Lame Shit
Different
Day.
Day.
And yeah, man, we welcome y'all, man. It's a beautiful Saturday. We got up early, went out and about, rode around to some stores looking for some stuff, just kind of getting out and enjoying a dope God-given morning. Oh Lord, don't be one of these. I hope it ain't one of these podcasts. Hope it ain't one of these episodes. But yeah, though, just enjoying the morning, man. We done got us some wings for the occasion. I said occasion, that black folk shit. We done got some wings for the occasion. From Hip Hop Chicken in Albany, Georgia, with the extra crack on the goddamn wings and the fry. Oh, it about to go down because I'm hungry. So
It's gonna be some crunching going on.
Yeah, but we figured it would be a nice little touch given today's topic and today's episode, which is called Drums and Flats. And
and flats.
And we gonna, no pun intended, break that down. You know what I mean? We're gonna break that down, get into it, share with y'all some food for thought. That was a pun intended. And we're gonna see what we go. You know, what God take us in this conversation. But I gotta eat. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta eat, man. So the announcer for today, Hip Hop Chicken. Actually, that's not the announcer. This the announcer. But you ain't got the card, do it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
we can have two announcers. So the first announcer would be Hip Hop Chicken and Fish, or Hip Hop Fish and Chicken. I don't know which one of them animals go first. But folks from here know exactly what we talking about. So get you some fire wings, some fire fish, and fries, and make sure if you don't have extremely high blood pressure, ask for that extra seasoning, which we call crack.
Yeah.
So you got that. And the next announcer would be flesh. There you go. Bling blow. Okay. So this beautiful piece of copper, this copper bracelet, is from this company, and forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, but it's from Air Theodeum, and it's spelled HEIRTHEODEUN. You can find him on Instagram at HEIR.THEODEUN. That's where we purchased this bracelet. He has a lot of dope copper jewelry. He do a lot of custom orders, so that can push your time back as far as when you get your order in. But he prefers you to communicate with him through DM. So stay in communication with him, so you can know what's up with your order and this, that, and next. It took us a little over a month to get that bracelet, but it was around Christmas time, so he had a lot of custom orders to fill. And he's only one guy. He also teaches how to do jewelry too. So hit him up on Instagram, look at some dope jewelry, and you never know what you may find. So, because I'm probably going to be ordering some rings next. Because he has some dope rings and necklaces, and he does wands. I think he does crowns. He does it all with crystals and stones and copper.
He got some dope shit. I ain't gonna lie. I'm in love with this shit.
So check him out. I'm not sure where he's located. It's not on his Instagram, but it kind of don't really matter. I know he's in the States, but he does dope work. So there you go.
Shout out to you, bro.
And once again, I apologize if I pronounced it wrong. I don't know how it's pronounced. I haven't seen a video on his Instagram that shows the pronunciation. So I'm sorry. But I did spell it for the people.
Is it pronunciation or pronunciation?
I don't know.
I think it's pronunciation. Not that it matters, but when you said it, it made me think about it. I think it's pronunciation. That's one of them words I don't say a whole lot no more, so I don't really I don't know, it kind of sounds a little weird to me now.
Pronun.
Okay. All right. I was right then. It's a certain way I had it in my mind as far as the spelling. I was trying to
I
see.
say pronounce. That's how I've
No, no,
always
no,
heard
no, no,
people
no.
say it.
Hold on. Pronounce is right. If you're just trying to say, how do you pronounce that? But if you're trying to say the version of it with the ation with it, you say pronunciation instead of pronunciation.
I say pronounce and I say pronunciation because it's the same word and ain't nobody corrected me since I was a kid. So that's where we gonna stick.
That why you gotta have some friends and some people in your family and in your circle that speak proper English, so you can hear the right versions of shit. You can still throw your ebonics on it, cause God knows I do. It's fun, but it's good to hear the for real shit too, though. Cause you could be saying some shit wrong your whole life.
I forgot to say my grace.
Oh, I'm getting there. My fries ain't got no extra seasoning on at all.
Yeah,
I asked for it twice.
we probably should have went with the extra like she said. The lady that took our order had flat out asked us, you want extra seasoning or extra seasoning? And sometimes if you say extra, that could have been too much seasoning.
Yeah.
So he told her whatever original amount they put on there, put more on top of that. So she said, okay. So it's almost like they just gave us the regular and no extra. And I don't even know if I consider that regular.
Yeah, this is a little less than a regular.
So it's cool though, cause the food still be good, but
But this ain't what I wanted.
we wanted that snow off on that thing.
Snow season. Yeah.
But as I'm eating my wing, cause these are whole wings, by the way, I realize I always start with the drum. I start with the drum majority of the time. I save the flat for last. Because why? It's my favorite.
And see, I'm the opposite. I start with the flat.
It's my favorite.
A lot of times I break the flat off and tend to that. But check me out, right? The drum and the flat is on here. Same wing. I prefer this part. She prefer this part. In life, get all philosophical on the air. In life, sometimes
Yeah.
you're given drums or flats. You might prefer drums or flats, but just remember, they all come with the same wing.
From the same source.
From the same source. Perfect example of yin and yang, if I say so myself. You know what I mean? But we wanted to name this episode Drums and Flats because we was having a conversation with
my cousins.
Yeah, really just family, you know, because it was more than her cousin and stuff. It was a few of us, so we'll just say with family, you know what I mean. But we was having a conversation, right? And it was three of us, three groups of couples, and we kind of had a moment in the conversation where we was talking about the differences between, you know, men and women, and, you know, each person in the relationship, and we was kind of likening it to drums and flats, which is a theory and a concept I've already had in my mind because that's real to me. You know what I mean? Like I've had that in my mind since I realized you prefer drums. I mean, you prefer flats. So when I think about that, I don't know. There's something to that. You know what I mean? Like, because let's think about it, right? The meat ain't that different. It ain't like it just tastes totally different. It ain't like the meat tastes totally different. Yet we had these preferences. And these preferences are based off things that we look for. You know, me. I like the pieces with the more meat on it. The drum got more meat. And it has like thicker meat. Like, and too, I can hold that bitch. It got a whole little handle for me. It's a whole little handle right there. You know what I mean? So those things matter to me. But on the flip side now, your flat got a handle too. You know what I mean? Why do you like the flats more? What you like more about the flats?
You know, I've been trying to figure that out for some time now. I don't really know. Maybe I feel like I can get to the meat easier. I don't know. Because I really don't. I really don't get to the meat easier.
Yeah, cause I ain't gonna lie, that part a little tricky to me.
I don't know. I
See?
just like it. I think I like the visual aesthetic of it. I think I like that more than the drum. I think that's what that is. I think I like because it's flat and it's kind of uniform. Like with the drum, you get all different little shapes and lumpy dumps and sides and stuff. You even got that little ligament that kind of just sit out there off to the side that you either gonna bite off of you or you gonna leave there. Some people eat the gristle. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Most times I don't. If I'm not gonna really deal with that part, I'm gonna really tend to the flat mostly. When I was little, I used to leave a lot of meat on the bone because I used to see the vein in the chicken, so I didn't really know how I felt about that as a kid, like growing up. As I got older, I'm just like, we all got veins. It's an animal. You got to expect to see that at some point in time. As long as there ain't no running blood coming out of it, you good.
Basically.
So I just started eating it. But I don't really know. I guess that's really the main reason why I prefer flats. I kind of like the method of getting to the meat to me, like versus the drum. Like the drum, of course you can bite and pull off. Sometimes I bite, sometimes I pull off the meat or whatever off the chicken. The flats, it's something about these flats. All right, I even eat this part. I eat this part now. This part is dope to me. It do hold a lot of little flavor, although it ain't really much in there at all.
Yeah, it ain't.
But I do like that part now. For some people, that's their favorite part. They like the fingernail. They like the little fingertip. But the flat part, all right. So when you break it down, you know, you could grab the bone and push it down, and then push all the meat down to one side, and you can just eat it like that, as if it was like a drumstick. So, oh Lord, my plate breaking.
Really? That was a fucking life hack right there. I've never in my life, I've been eating chicken for 30 years.
So
I've never in my life done that or even considered doing that. What? Do that again?
So you break off the drum and the little fingernail. The little finger. You grab one end. Make sure you grab the bone. And you push it down.
When did you discover that? How did you discover that?
Instagram. Woo! Instagram or Facebook, one or the other.
That makes more sense. Now I get it.
And I thought to myself, when I saw that, now why I ain't think of that all these years?
That too damn technical for some chicken eating.
It worked though.
Yeah, it do.
I got all my skin and all my meat.
That's funny. See, I just be eating. I ain't looking for, but I just want the meat. Make it available to me. That's all I need.
Nah. I don't do that a lot. I do that sometimes. It's just fun to do. But the fact that I can do it makes me feel good about the flat and my decision that I made.
So, the lesson here is we all looking for different things. Some of us know what we looking for. Some don't. Some find out what we looking for on Instagram and Facebook. Some of us find neat little ways to maneuver certain things that makes it a little easier for us. But guess what? Ain't nobody wrong for their preference.
Nope. Nope.
If you want to goddamn be sliding meat up and down your flat, slide meat up and down your flat.
That's hilarious. Also too, let's say I kind of want to add this. Let's say like we did, we ordered basically a family plate, right? Family tray of food. Let's say they didn't have whole wings, but they had like the party size. So you get wings, you get the flats, and you might get the drums, right? So let's say I was real hell bent about eating flats. I don't eat drums. Give me the flats. I don't eat drums. Blah blah blah. So okay, cool. Let's divide it up. You get all the flats. I get all the drums. How about that? And we've done that before, but I just like to eat a little bit more than that. So, and we've done that, but let's say he get more drums than I get flats. That might actually work out for us because he eats more than me. Somebody else, it might not work out that way. But to each his own.
Mm-hmm.
To each his own. Are you willing to take 2 wings less than the other person to get what you really want? If you really want these flats, are you cool with eating the drum or 2 as long as you got majority flats?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had to do that too. But me, I just like to eat. Long as it's even, we good. Because either way, it comes from the same part of the chicken. And as long as I can say I done had a wing, which is either this drum or the flat or both, I actually do prefer the whole wing over wing or flat. I mean the drums or flats.
Yeah, definitely.
Give me the whole wing. Give me the whole wang-a-dang.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why we go to Hip Hop Chicken, because you're going to get the whole
The
boy.
whole
You're going to
wang.
get the whole boy.
Give me that wang. I need the whole thing, but are you willing to make that call, that sacrifice, that compromise? Whether it be food, friendship, business-ship, relationship.
Business ship. That's funny.
Friendship,
See,
parentship.
my issue with the flat is, it's not a real issue, but it got too many bones. With the drum, it's just one bone.
Yeah, you do have to.
With the flat, it just it's obstacles, and I'm a straight to the point person. And see, that's the brilliance about this shit. Kaya not really a straight to the point person. She likes the scenic route. In most cases, and most of what she do, she take the scenic route. Most of what I do, I go straight to whatever it is I'm trying to do. So that shows in everything. That's the beautiful thing about life. Like, your personality showing everything you do. You are in everything you do. So for me, when it comes to these drums and flats, one of the drawbacks with the flats is the fact that I can't get straight to it without interference. So I like them. It's just too much damn work. But I do the work. But with them drums, boy, it's just me and meat, boy. By the time the bone come into play, I'm done.
I will say with the flats too, though. I don't always do that push down method. Sometimes I just make sure I got a good grip on the bone and just pull. Now, I've tried that recently. I don't do that a lot either. I've tried that recently. And depending on how hard the meat cooked, you ain't going to be able to pull that out as smoothly. It is fun to do, though. That's probably the only time I'll say I quote unquote play with my food. Because I don't play with my food. I just eat.
As y'all can see, I don't play with my food.
I'm trying to continue to make sure I talk. Because we hungry. As you can see. It's lunch time.
I see this little itty bitty ass bone right here.
Yeah. See, that's the part of the fingernail. That's the toe there. That's the toe. But I like that part. That's a part of the plan because I got to try to get the meat off of it. And it ain't much meat on there at all.
Look at that. See? I just bit into that drum. Got a mouthful of meat.
This is the this might be, well, it might not be one of the most hilarious episodes, but this is funny. Pun and no pun intended, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mouthful of meat though.
Chicken meat, that is. You can get some more fries if you want.
Chicken little meat. You trying to give me your lackluster fry?
That ain't that lackluster.
Mine was.
That would mean you probably need to get a few of mine then.
Nah, I got my wings. I'm good. Actually, I think this gonna be my last one.
Probably mine too.
I didn't think I was gonna run through the whole 10. I could have.
I didn't think I would.
I
knew I wouldn't.
But
not with fries. If I just had, I probably would have ate. If I didn't have fries, I might have would have ate 6. Knowing me.
Yeah.
I got a little bit more seasoning on these than what was in the pan. Probably because it was a smaller container. Either way, it was still good. But
and see me, when I eat, I clean the bone. I eat everything. When I was a kid, I used to eat the bone marrow.
I used to eat the bone when I was a kid. Like, just flat out the bone. And that was only because I seen my cousin do it. And I was just like, ew. And they was like, it's good, it's good. So, I would eat the bone. And it would, I remember, like, having to chew for what seemed like a very long time just to make sure I chewed the bone down good enough to where I wouldn't cut my doggone throat up or choke. And I'm a kid. And the adults ain't saying to stop because, hell, they used to eat the bone too. To some degree. I definitely saw them eat that gristle. So in my mind, when I saw them eat the gristle, I thought they was eating the bone. I didn't know what a gristle was as a kid. I still wouldn't be able to explain it to you, but I know exactly what it is. Like,
ain't the gristle the little rubbery part around the joint?
Yeah, the cartilage. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. See, I guess I did know how to explain it. I just never had to. But, yeah. So, but now when I got older, I'm just like, I ain't got to eat this doggone bone.
Yeah. Although
I do know bone and bone marrow is actually good for your health. But to get to it, but I am not that carnivorous.
No, that's fine.
So I got choppers, but I don't want to use them in that manner.
Chopper style, chopper style. Good
but I clean the bone now though. I clean my bone. I used to leave a lot of meat on it. Since we talking about drums and flats and eating and to each his own and his and hers and them and theys and all this other stuff. When and if I'm eating. You know, you got them people. Okay, there's a thing where, what is called ASMR, what is it? Like the sound stuff.
ASMR, I think.
All right. So, you know, you got a lot of people that like certain sounds. Certain sounds are soothing. When we were growing up, and it still is a thing, you have people that don't like to hear people eat, chew, whatever. This is my response to those people. Because I understand. You don't want to hear nobody smacking or whatever. Mind your plate, not mine.
Basically. But like, that's the thing though, right? Like for the people who really are like adamant about not hearing you when you eat, right? Like really think about this. Everybody mouth make noise when they eat. Everybody.
Whether you opening your mouth or not, whether you smacking or not. Like, I'm gonna open my mouth every now and then. But I don't smack though.
Mm-hmm.
You might hear the moisture in my mouth, but I don't smack though.
Or the crunching if it's something crunchy.
And I got choppers, so almost everything I eat sound crunchy. So you either tend to your plate and get out my mouth. Get out my mouth. Then they tell you as a little girl or little boy to get out of grown folk mouth when they talking. I believe that applies to plates. Get out my mouth while I'm eating. Thank you. This is me and mine. This is my journey.
But see, you got people who so serious with it, they ain't willing to, like, that's a zero tolerance type thing for some people. Where it's like they won't fuck with anybody if they hear them when they eat.
Yep.
And
that's a deal breaker for them.
yeah. And I get that. You know, I don't share that, but I get it. Like you like
I ain't
you like
gonna
what
stop
you
you
like.
from eating, baby. Eat.
You like what you like, but see, they won't stop you. They just won't fuck with you. But the point I'm getting to is, could you be missing out on love, like real love? Like, is it worth missing out on love? You know what I mean? Like, if you met your soulmate, if you met a person that just check all the boxes off, but you have to hear them eat because they got a mouth that generates saliva, and they got teeth, and they eat stuff with texture, so naturally sounds and shit get made when they eat. Are you willing to, like, miss out on love over that? You know what I mean? You got to ask yourself how important that is to you. Same thing with drums and flats. Like, you got to ask yourself, how important is that? You know what I mean? Because you might like drums. I like drums. But if I'm starving and you hand me 20 flats, you think I ain't gonna eat them motherfuckers? You know what I mean? Like,
chomp chomp.
Yeah, so it's like, because the meat ain't that different. Like, it ain't like steak and chicken. That's two totally different types of meats, two totally different textures, two totally different flavors. Drums and flats ain't that different. They different, but they not that different. So it's one of the things where it's like a lot of times we kind of get in our own way. You know what I mean? When it comes to love, and when it comes to friendships, and when it comes to opportunities, whatever it might be, because we talking about like relationships and dealing with people, but this also go for opportunities. If you got an opportunity that's a drum opportunity, and you a flats person, and you trying to eat, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey bro, I'm just saying, just because it ain't drums don't mean that's a bad opportunity. You know, it might be a great opportunity.
That one you need to weigh that thing out, because it might have a lot of similarities and just subtle differences, but you looking at the differences so heavily that you overlook the fact, oh, this the same doggone thing. This the same thing.
Yes.
I can deal with this for however long I can deal with it or not, you know, but you got to weigh that thing out for yourself.
It kind of bring me back to the half empty, half full saying. Like, it's the glass half full or half empty. How do you see it? And I understand that saying, but the way I look at it, I mean, shit, you got something to drink. You know what I mean? Like, whether that be a half full or half empty, nigga, you got something to drink. Drink. You know what I mean? And to be honest, the cup ain't gonna stay full. It also don't have to stay empty. You know what I mean? But as long as you got something in your cup, though, like, if you got something in your cup, just appreciate what you got in your cup.
It made me think about this. I guess, like, what is your level of satisfaction? What is your satisfactory level at? Because for some people, because they don't want to tolerate whatever it is they don't want to tolerate, they're not satisfied with that. And that might be a big or small thing. For us, it might be real small, like, oh, you can't be pleased, or for lack of better words, or it's hard to satisfy this person because they have to have this exact thing. Although we may know and understand, like, ain't no way you gonna get that. No matter what it is, whoever it is, however the situation go. But when you think about it, it's like, all right, where your satisfactory level at? Sometimes that, I guess that kind of Goes back to boundary too, like where you set that bar or that boundary line or whatever. Like how far you willing to go? Are you willing to budget? Are you like budge it, not budget, but make it move and alter it or not?
Mm-hmm. And like, what do you value? You know, like how do you prioritize? Like that's why I asked, like, is it worth missing out on love over? You know, like, do you prioritize the sound somebody eats, like the sound of somebody eating? Do you prioritize that over somebody's ability to love you? Do you prioritize that over somebody's ability to accept you? Do you prioritize that over somebody's ability to help you and to teach you? Do you like prioritize that over sex? Do you prioritize that over financial shit? Like where does that sit on your list of priorities as far as how you value things and your value system? Where does that sit? You know what I'm saying? Like
My mama,
that's important.
my mama used to date this guy. I was like in the 7th grade when she was dating him, and he had kids. One of them was a couple of years younger than me. What's up, DJ? And he has 2 sisters. I don't want to keep naming out names, but that whole family, including the daddy. Oh, and his daddy a fire cook too. That man, I was looking forward to every Sunday we went over there at the church. But anyway, we sat at the table and ate as a family at the church. Me, mama, him, and his kids. Every last one of them, they hum while they eat.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I paused while I was eating and realized, like, dang, everybody humming. And I don't know if it was because it was good. I'm pretty sure because that man can cook. It was awesome. But I think maybe on one end I was like, maybe it's a nerve thing, or one thing, maybe it's a soothing thing, or that's just something that just the family does, that everybody just kind of, everybody has a family thing, a gene or a trait that like a family does that is kind of unexplainable.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't bother me that they hummed. I was just like, well, shoot, I'm finna eat then. They humming. Do what you do. Because it ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm minding my plate. But that's something that me and my mama noticed. Like, they hum when they eat. And it's not like loud or nothing. It ain't like it's... You know how things hum? Like, you'll hear the refrigerator humming all day long. It's like one of those noises you don't even recognize it's even happening unless you put focus on it. I also believe the people who like don't like to hear people eat or drink or whatever, they put so much focus on what they're hearing while they're eating. And I'm like, do you hear yourself? Do you hear those crunching and chewing in your, like, if you were to put headphones on or earmuffs on or whatever, you gonna hear everything that's going on in your mouth.
Facts.
Every swallow you take.
I know that from recording.
So
I
like,
know that from recording, boy.
even if you open your mouth lightly, you're gonna hear the separation from your tongue, from the roof of your mouth or whatever. So it's like,
man,
what you putting the focus on, whether it's relationship, whether it's what you putting the focus on. What did you put in the, cause baby, I was finna get me a second plate at that after we ate. They can hum all they want. Cause I'm finna sit here and bounce and be humming myself. Cause this food good as all get out. That's why I'm humming.
Yeah. Yeah.
That food was good. You hear me?
Yeah.
And I do a dance. I used to dance a little bit.
I'm pretty sure you.
When I get real happy about some food. Oh.
You have your dances and shit you do now. Like, so I definitely can imagine that.
dance.
I definitely can imagine that. Like, this nigga dead ass got little dances she do for shit. Like,
it's the excitement.
That is hilarious. But yeah, man, like, what do you value? You know what I mean? And it ain't no right or wrong answer. But just know though, with whatever your answers are, it does create an experience. So it ain't about right or wrong. Ain't no right or wrong. Like, who can tell you that you should be with somebody that smacks? If that's not the experience you want for yourself, fine. But just understand what type of experience you'll be crafting for yourself if that is a determining factor in what decisions you make. If you making your decisions based off that, it comes with something. Every action has a reaction. So for you to choose that, just know that you set yourself on a path. You know, the moment you make that decision, just know that, okay, you X out a lot of the population when you don't want to be with somebody that you can hear eating. You X out a lot of the population. 2, if that's your thing, if that's your little quirk or idiosyncrasy, your thing that you don't like, and it's just something, if that's a pet peeve for you, how open-minded are you to somebody else's pet peeve? You know, like for you, you might not like to hear people eat. For them, they might not like people that suck their fingers. So can you handle basically your own medicine? You know what I'm saying? Like, that matters. That matters. Hell, that's one of the most important parts of a relationship to me. Can you handle your own medicine? Because in a relationship, you will get to see what your medicine like. You're gonna see that shit. You gonna see. Really, just life. It ain't even just relationship. Just in life.
And most times,
we all get to taste our own medicine.
You ain't gonna like how your medicine tastes. Most people don't like how medicine tastes, period. But you definitely ain't gonna like. I didn't even like them. I used to make my mama buy them doggone Flintstone vitamins and did not like me. I used to try to find a favorite flavor, which I did. And she still would be mad at me because I didn't want them. She was like, "Hell, you gotta take your vitamin today." And it was just for me, it was the chalkiness of it after you would eat it.
I ain't like that part.
It didn't matter. It was like I had to brush my teeth because it didn't matter what I drank. I'm still tasting the vitamin, and the fact that I had to take them every day. That's why I don't like taking medicine. Part of the reason why I don't like taking medicine because I've never been a person to like taking medicine every day. I don't like doing that. I don't want to do that every day, even though I asked. Mm-hmm. But it was because I was a kid and I really liked cartoons and they was colorful. So please get me this because I want it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Trix yogurt. I used to eat Trix yogurt and would never eat the full cup. And then she would be like, Trix. You ain't opening another one until you finish that one. And I never wanted it because hell, it's open and my mind is old. It done sat in the refrigerator for 2 days. But it went old. Same thing with Yoo-Hoos. She's got tired of me wanting the Yoo-Hoos, never finished drinking them, put them in the refrigerator, want to open another one, and she like, you wasting all my money. So
you've been doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay then. That makes a little more sense now.
I'm a lot better though. I do go back and finish food and stuff because of the simple fact I realized sometimes, I was a picky eater. I was a real picky eater. That's why I said a lot more now. You wouldn't know because you wasn't there when I was a kid. But it was a lot of food that got thrown away. Other than the fact that my mama really didn't care for leftovers either, so it was a lot of food that got thrown away. But I'm a person that like to eat now, so I will venture back to it. But it will be some food thrown away too, just not as much as it was when I was little, because I'm in control of what I eat now. You know, niggas used to try to make you eat what you ain't want, but. And that goes back to what you were saying, you know, medicine and whatnot. Is that what can you take your own medicine? And are you willing to take it? It's yours, you dishing it out.
Yeah, but when you dishing it out, you don't have to deal with the side effects.
Do you even know what your side effects are?
Most of us don't.
Because they ain't taking it. They not taking their medicine to know. They don't go through their own trial and error. We don't go through our own trial and error. Because I don't either. I had my own bout of that earlier this week. So once you see that and realize, and sometimes you have to remember, like, dang, I got this whole bottle of Robitussin that I ain't even popped the seal on yet, trying to make everybody.
Nigga.
Yeah, don't nobody want to take that mess. Or NyQuil.
Robitussin, that's funny.
I took the last time I took NyQuil, I was probably in middle school. If I wasn't in middle school, I was probably like ninth grade. I ain't never take NyQuil again. Never again. Because what was supposed to make me feel better made me feel worse, and I threw it right back up, and it tasted just like it did when it went down. Like, so I was just like, I literally just tasted this shit twice and did not want it neither time. So,
Man, look.
so what you got stored up and what you dishing out, and are you willing to deal with what it tastes like and them side effects? If you ain't, you got to figure out how to make that thing work out.
Yeah.
Try to fix the formula or remove it off the shelf altogether, because you either, for one, you already doing it to yourself without you knowing, but you definitely doing it to somebody else. So whether they in the room or not, that includes eating, that includes sleeping, because some people can't tolerate people snoring.
And who can help whether or not they snore? You're asleep. Like, it ain't a whole lot you can do about that. You know what I mean?
And
like,
some people legit have physical things that that makes them snore, like they have breathing issues and have to use CPAP machines and whatever else. So you have to consider other people and what they're dealing with as well as yourself. It's not always easy, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. What you focusing on?
It just boiled down to like, how much are you able to accept like other people? You know what I mean? Like, do you need everybody to be like you and exactly like you, or can you accept the differences that everybody got? You know what I mean? Like, can you really accept it? I mean, really accepting it. Not accepting it, wishing you could change it, which all of us experience that. That's normal. But I mean, like, can you accept it and let it go? Can you accept it and make peace with it? And that's important. That's gonna determine a lot of your happiness and dealings with people and relationships with people. We all got our areas, man. Well, I don't know. We don't fuck with certain shit. Just certain shit we don't fuck with. We all got no areas. But them the areas that is the most important to ask yourself that. Like, can you accept this? Why is this like this? Like, if snoring is one of them things, it's like, okay, I can understand that it affects your sleep. See, the thing is, when somebody eating and they smacking or you can hear them eating, that don't have nothing to do with your experiences as a person eating. You still can taste the food the same. You still gonna shit it the same. You can enjoy it the same. It don't really affect you eating. You still can eat. Now with the snoring thing, that's a little more understandable to me, because it's like, damn, if this person snores so loud and you sleep with them every night, you actually can't sleep like that because they snore loud. So for there is like, okay, that's a tricky situation. We don't have that problem. I don't snore a whole lot to my knowledge, and she don't snore like that either. We're more like, we'll breathe heavy at a period of time in the night.
And depending on how tired we are, we may snore. And depending on how we're laying, we may snore. But other than that, we really don't. We breathe hard more than anything. And sometimes even just the breathing hard can be irritating. I love my nephew. I have a nephew. He's 10. But he's been doing this ever since he was born. I don't remember what it's called, but I Googled it. It's hard to sleep around him because he has this thing where he moans and groans throughout the night and also grit his teeth. So you'll hear his teeth like grinding together. And it irritates me with that, because I'm like, it sounds like you just fucking your teeth up. But the moaning and groaning, you would think he might be having a dream, but he also could very well not be. And he just, every toss and turn, like, it's
and then
that.
Sometimes he get loud.
Yes, and he gets
sometimes
loud.
He get real loud.
But you can grow out of it. I think he is starting to grow out of it. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Sometimes his nose bleed.
So if he get too hot, his nose bleed. So you have people have things that they deal with and go through. Are you willing to deal with them? Because who knows, down the line you may develop something, whether it's with eating or whatever, sleeping or just walking, or it's something's gonna happen. Things change. So like my knees pop. Like there's not while I'm walking, but every time I've been down now, you gonna hear something.
Yeah.
So it's I've us having this talk made me have this thought. We trying to find a balance in life as far as just people, but it's like, can we really truly be satisfied? Or is that even a real thing? Why is satisfied even a word? Because we're always constantly like adjusting. So it's like and you never really fully get 100% of anything. So technically you have to be satisfied with something to some degree, if that makes sense what I'm saying. But at the same time you won't be, because you're still not getting whatever you probably 100% wanted in your brain. You just have to already know, set this goal, but also have enough room to where it might not set the goal, but have another line set to where like, all right, I might not get this, but if I don't get this, I'm cool with this spot right here.
Yep.
So like when my nephew spend the night, I already know what they expect, because that's my nephew. I can't not let him spend the night because he moans and groans. Like he's been doing that since he was a baby. I knew that before he knew that. So I'm willing to deal with that, because there's nothing he can do with that. That same thing, like if he snore, I love him to death. I'm willing to deal with snoring if he were that type of person. Or we'll have to figure out, hey, I need to make sure I go to sleep for you, because I sleep hard. He's a lighter sleeper than I do. So we would have to do something like that if that was the case. But that would be how I would, at least in those small scenarios, how I would place my boundary and set my lines. Like, all right, I can't get this, but I can get here. Now I can deal with that. Same thing with me. Like, I breathe hard. I didn't know I breathed hard like that till he told me. So I'm like, well, dang, I don't know how to control that because I'm asleep.
I mean, you don't just be breathing crazy, but you do, like, I think everybody, well, I can't say that. I done heard some real quiet sleepers, but it's very rare though. It's extremely rare.
Some people sleep so quiet, I be scared. He sleeps so quiet sometimes. I have to look at his chest and stuff to see if he breathing.
Shit, you too. I done had to do that to you.
Some people sleep with their eyes half closed. You looking at me?
Not them. Now that's man.
You looking at me? You got way.
I could live with that, but that is some creepy shit though. That's some creepy shit, man, to see somebody in their eye like halfway open and it's like them niggas sleep though. Like that shit crazy, cause you can really see, like, I don't know, bro. That shit like a preview to death. Like you can see like damn, you here.
But you ain't
here.
Ain't here at all.
And it make you understand why they say like sleep is the cousin of death. Like, because for the people who sleep like that and their eyes be open a little bit, they do kind of look a little dead. Like that shit interesting, dog. Like it's like we really go somewhere when we sleep.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? Like
we be traveling.
And see, for me, speaking of traveling, I haven't been like astro traveling. But I've been having what they call lucid dreams for like a month straight. Like almost every night I go to sleep for the past month. I am aware that I'm asleep while I'm sleeping. And I'm like looking at my dream. Like almost like I'm in a movie theater watching my dream. You know what I mean? I never tried to do nothing though. I haven't tried to like do anything. I just be commentating basically. Like, damn, that's what's happening. That's weird. Like, just kind of like as a third party witnessing my dream. And that shit kind of been throwing my sleep off, man. Like, I ain't used to that. Like, especially not this consecutive. Now, I've been doing that shit for about a month, man. Like, not every time I sleep, but a lot of it. But I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you where we go, but we go somewhere when we sleep, man. And it make me think about the Bible, when the Bible talk about how basically death is sleep. And it's like, damn, how interesting would it be if it really like literally is like sleep? You know what I'm saying? Like literally, you just don't wake up again.
Yeah.
And if I think about it like that, death ain't death ain't bad. It ain't that. I could use some death right now. Cause I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
I'm tired.
You know, you said something that made me just have this thought. Okay, so since it's like um death to some degree, we die every day.
Of course.
Because our body go through a process while we sleep of like renewing and refreshing, like internally, whether you digesting food or your brain relaxing because it done been processing all day, and it's still actually working while you're asleep.
Yes.
But it's a different way of working.
They're going to a different mode.
We slow down in our breathing, like, which is why we breathe deeper. We don't even breathe that deep when we're up and about.
Mm-hmm.
We have more shallow breathing, although we're supposed to be breathing how we breathe when we sleep.
Yeah, man.
But I ain't think about that. Yeah, we wind up dying every day to some degree. Like we get micro doses. Micro doses of death. I'll be damned. I ain't think about that.
I thought about that a long time ago. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Life, man. This shit interesting, man. This shit's so interesting to me. Like, that's why I love to talk about it, because don't none of us really understand it or know it. So it's like one of the most important things we could talk about, because don't none of us really get it. Like life is a mystery to us. Death is a mystery to us too. Like just existence. Like it's a mystery. You know what I'm saying? It's a mystery to us. Even with the concept of drawings and flats, like you got this group of people that's wired this way, and then you got another group of people that's wired that way, and it seems like they're two different things. And to an extent they are, but it's to a small extent though. And it's like they all come from the same thing. You know what I mean? And when you think about it like that, for me, when I think about it like that, it just kind of just blow my mind a little bit, because we don't realize how much of ourselves is in everybody we meet and come across. And we can look real different from our angle. But if you look at it from different angles and different perspectives, you start realizing we really all the same. We just in a different form. You know what I mean? Like drums, flats. It's just two different forms of the same shit. Same shit though.
What you just said made me think about this. Okay, since we basically be dealing with ourselves over and over again with no matter who we come across, I think about that with my job. I have a supervisor now, and the supervisor I had before her. We didn't, both of them originally. It's not like we had issues. Like I don't have issues with none of my supervisors. We just had misunderstandings.
Mm-hmm.
The first supervisor, we had so many misunderstandings to the point where she was saying that I was raising my voice at her, but I was like, I'm not. I'm only raising my voice because you was raising your voice at me, and was trying to tell me what I was doing when I was telling her that's not what I was doing and correcting her, and she kept trying to tell me that that's what I was doing when I know what I was doing. So that was one thing, but then I realized how and why she was saying certain stuff and doing certain stuff, and it made me think about myself. A lot of the stuff with both supervisors, a lot of the stuff that I wound up having issues with them about was stuff that I actually do on an everyday basis, not only with them but with other people. Like so the same stuff that I was coming home and having issues with between me and Carlo was some of the same stuff that I was having issues with my supervisors. It's just how we communicate, how I choose to say what I'm saying, or how I choose to type what I'm saying versus how they did it, or why they did it at the time that they did it, what they may feel upset about, why they might have been upset with. So I'm like, oh, okay, so you like me, okay, so I can handle you different. I can handle you like this, because if I was you in this particular situation, then I would do this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's hard to try to remember stuff like that because you done been doing it a certain way your whole life. But once you really start looking at other people as yourself, it kind of can make it a little bit easier.
What if God was one of us, man?
So,
What if God was one of us?
start with the man in the mirror. Mm-hmm. So, and although I still have my whatever, because I'm still me, and they are them, and they have their own experiences and their own upbringing and family life and whatever, it's like you wind up being connected to the people that you are just like anyway, like how life is kind of like set up. You wind up being connected to people that's going to show you a side of yourself that you didn't even know that was there, but has been there the entire time. So, including a dog, because Bebop, Lord have mercy, shows me just how anxious I can be, even when that dog will be so doggone anxious when ain't nothing going on, and me and Carlo
Not
both be
one
looking
thing.
at each other like, what do he have going
Now,
on?
one thing, but check me out though. A lot of his anxiousness come from him misunderstanding. He doesn't know. He don't understand human existence because he's a dog and he don't speak English. So it's a lot of shit he don't understand. The way he's very intelligent. It's a lot he does understand. So much so to the point that it just kind of blows my mind that he understands as much as he understands with as limited information as he have. But he has his certain things and his certain ways of being able to pick up information and process information as an animal to kind of understand what's going on with us on a human level. Like their nose, they smell, they sense, they can pick up all kind of shit. Like a dog can tell you if you having a stroke, an anxiety attack. Like they can tell you, they couldn't tell you because they can't talk, but they can pick up on your emotional state and your mental state through scent. And I think that's one of the most amazing things in the motherfucking world. Like that's crazy when you think about that, because that's just, I would have never known that the nose had that capability. You know what I mean? But a dog's nose, and I'm sure other animals, does. So a big part of what makes him anxious is the fact that he doesn't understand human existence in detail. He understands it from his perspective as a dog with his processing faculties, but he don't understand it the way y'all understand the words coming out of my mouth right now. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the English language at his you know what I mean? He don't have that as a resource. It's a lot of information he don't have. So sometimes he'll see a shadow of something and he'll start like he think it's something. Sometimes it have been songs I've played. It's songs and shit I've played where certain frequencies scare him. So he get anxious about that, like, cause he hear the frequencies. He hear it different than us, cause he also has like super hearing. So that's a little different. And it's just all these little things that don't mean him any harm, but the way he process information, he feel like he need to be anxious, and he experienced anxiety because of that. When we shave him, he cool getting his whole body shaved, but he don't fuck with that face. He don't want you to do shit around his face, and he don't like the sound of the humming of the clippers. He does not like that.
Can't stand the sound.
And he don't like the vibration
around his mouth.
He don't like the vibration around his mouth. Like it's just certain shit, and it's like I can't talk to him to ask him that, but he still has a way of communicating and letting me know I don't like that and I don't like that. You know, so like it's just interesting. But to get back to her and Bebop and how they are alike, they both get anxious about things that they don't understand. I would go as far as to say most of us with anxiety, because I got mild anxiety, but I would go as far as to say most of us with anxiety, most of the time we're getting anxious about shit we don't understand. You know, like, especially if you're a person who have like severe anxiety to the point where you have like anxiety attacks and stuff, which, and I could be wrong, but from my understanding though, that is the body sending you signals. That's the body sending you false signals. Like an anxiety attack or just getting to that level of anxiousness, that's something that's supposed to kick in when your life is in danger. You know what I mean? Like if you're really in a life threatening situation, something like that would possibly kick in depending on how you wired. But if you just at a event and ain't nothing really happening, but you're nervous because it's a lot of people here, or you finna perform, or you in an argument, or whatever it is that you doing. For me and my understanding, it seemed like that level of anxiety is the body playing tricks on you, the mind playing tricks on you, is making you, is having a response to a life or death threat without you having to be in a life or death situation. And that's like almost like it's miscalibrated. You know what I mean? Like it's like damn, like it's like having a smoke alarm that just goes off every time you start cooking something, even if it ain't a whole lot of smoke. You know what I mean? But once it can detect a certain temperature, it just start going off. It's like it's just interesting how that works.
It's been certain parts of the brain has been overly stimulated to the point now where it misfires. So, and I'm not no doctor. I ain't no psychologist or none of this, but this is just what makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
You wound up putting yourself through these emotional cycles with anxiety because of how you think, which send these signals off to your brain to send these other signals off to your body, whether it's heart palpitations, you're heavily breathing because your heart pounding although you ain't doing nothing, you're sweating,
Mm-hmm.
you're not thinking straight, you're looking too fast everywhere, like you're really not processing too much or nothing. So you done sent your body through these ongoing cycles over and over again for however many hours at a time. And sometimes you don't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people wind up having anxiety attacks or panic attacks or whatever in their sleep. They wake up out of their sleep because their heart was pounding and it felt like they was finna go in a cardiac arrest or something because their body just done, or maybe they was dreaming about something which caused it. Or maybe they subconsciously worrying about something before they went to sleep and don't realize it, and now their body going into this mode. So you done sent yourself through these routines cycles to where now your body is like, oh, it's time for me to do this. Boop, I got to do this now.
Yeah.
Which causes more issues. Somebody I know dealing with hives right now because of anxiety and stress and didn't know that was a thing, didn't know that could happen, and it's irritating them at the fact that they have these what look like mosquito bites on them, and it's making them itch. And we're in a season where mosquitoes really aren't that present. Like it's the winter where mosquitoes ain't biting on us, so that was confusing to them and they had to figure it out. Now they got to figure out ways to kind of deal with their anxiety because this is usually their hardest time of the year with anxiety and stress. So now they got to figure out what to do with themselves to better handle what's going on outwardly. Like have to figure out what to do internally to control what's going on their outside of their body.
Yep.
So. And for some people it's hair loss, for some people it's hives, for some people it's heart palpitations. I used to have heart palpitation because I drank a lot of soda, but I didn't know that I had anxiety either during that time. So I stopped drinking sodas, which helped my heart palpitations. But sometimes I can have a heart palpitation happen and I ain't had a soda and I haven't had a soda and whatever, and then I could just be standing talking and having a good old time with whoever, and my heart will start feeling like it's skipping a beat, and I'm just like, what's going on? So I could have already been through a weird anxiety filled spot either within the week or that day. Although I might not be in that space anymore, that don't mean I'm not gonna feel the effects. So I do what I do, which calms down my heart palpitations. For me, I still don't drink sodas like that. I very seldomly drink a soda. Um, but when I start feeling it, which and this is something I've always done. I don't even know why this worked, but maybe it's because the blood don't take as far to travel. I don't know. That's what my brain say, but that's probably kind of still don't make no sense. I crouch down, like kneel down on the floor, and I hold my knees. So basically, my knees will be to my chest while I'm just kind of
Mm-hmm.
crouched down on the floor and wait till my heartbeat regulate on its own. I don't say nothing. I don't do nothing. I just breathe and chill out. Like I even tell people, don't mind me. Ain't nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Cause if you do it within conversation, they're gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?" And they'll stop and just look at you. Yeah, right? And I'm like, I ain't trying to answer all these questions right now. Cause if I'm talking, it's taking away the breath that my heart need right now. So don't mind me. I'm good. And it literally takes me a few seconds, and I'm back up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and ironically enough, the person that I'm speaking on that was breaking out in hives just called me, so I'm gonna have to call that person back when we done.
Yeah, man.
But
And it's just, I don't know, man. Like, so much of life is about how we perceive it. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be so many things that's not really wrong that we perceive as wrong. Like, we just had this conversation going to Hip Hop Chicken to get the chicken. And in our opinion, man, every time you go to Hip Hop Chicken, the line is hanging out of the parking lot. So it's hanging out of the parking lot. And it's like it's this white SUV that's like hanging out of the turn where you turn in to get in there. And it's just in there. So we trying to get in, but it was a little space to the left. So I turned in and went to the little space in the left just so I wouldn't be completely in the street. So other cars that's actually on Slappy can drive by without hitting our car. And we can still kind of get in there. But it's packed. And it's always like that. But in our world, because it's so much traffic and everybody's at this place trying to get this food and it's packed, when the car ahead of you moves up, you need to move up so other people can move up so nobody will be hanging out in the street trying to get into this parking lot. That ain't necessarily the case to everybody in line. It was somebody who kind of was holding the line up a little bit for a short period of time, but we kind of talked about that because I said to myself, I was like, see, this kind of be my thing, man, with people like people don't be thinking about how what they do affect people. You know what I mean? It's like I get you're in your car, you got whatever you got going on. You might be in your phone, you could be in an argument, you could have been getting bad news. I don't know what was going on in that person's car. But what I do know is them not moving created difficulties for other people, and it literally put other people in danger. Because if you hanging outside of a store parking lot to the point where the back of your car is in the middle of a main street, but the front of your car is like turned into this parking lot you're trying to get into, the person hanging out is in danger. At that time, it was us. So it's like we talked about it, and Kaya was like, the only thing I could say we wrong for on our end is we wrong for thinking that they supposed to know that you supposed to move up. Now, I didn't agree with that 100%, but I could see how I guess I could be wrong about that. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie though, that's hard. That is hard. But just me understanding that I'm always right and I'm always wrong, I accepted that, okay, that's the part that I'm wrong about in this equation. Because everything else I felt and saw and thought, very fucking rational, very logical, and definitely made sense and definitely was the case. Because in my mind, it's like, hey, you can move up when the car go up and that'll make this go smoother for everybody. But then also, too, it's like, you gotta really like be the type of person that considers other people like that. And everybody ain't. Everybody ain't. And that's just the reality of life. Everybody don't do that. Everybody don't occupy that space in society. You got some people that's a lot more considerate of how they impact other people than others. You got some people who just do whatever they want to do. And because they do whatever they want to do, they actually end up disrespecting other people, crossing other people's boundaries, like a whole bunch of shit. And it's not that they wrong for that, cause it's cool, do what you want to do. But the problem is not understanding where the lines are drawn, because there are lines in life, invisible lines that are drawn all around us in every scenario, in every relationship, in every dealing. There are invisible lines that are drawn. Now, good communication, effective communication, is when you communicate with somebody in a way where they can see where your lines are drawn. That's what effective communication is. Being able to talk and speak to somebody in a way where they can see where your lines are drawn. And you can set your lines without disrespecting their lines. And that's what a harmonious coexistence is. But when I use that word harmonious now, keep in mind, we ain't supposed to be singing the same note if we in harmony. We gonna sing different notes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be different notes, but they all in the same key. So it's like being mindful enough to be able to keep in mind and be aware in real time when you're out of key, being aware of when something that you're doing is actually inconveniencing or impacting somebody else's life in a negative way. So much so to the point that you kind of removing their ability to choose, because that's what we dealt with at Hip Hop Chicken. Because it was so packed, we didn't really have no option other than what I did. So it ain't like I had other things I could have did. I guess if you want to say I could have just not went, I could have just not went. But by that time, I had already chosen we was gonna go, and I was already in there. But it's just being able to maneuver life in a way where you can do you, and you give everybody else the space and freedom to do them. And we make sure that we keep our eyes on the lines, on the margins, you know, on the boundaries. Because I could say right now, for instance, I want to lay like this and just have my feet. I want to stretch out. You know what I'm saying? I can stretch out, but her body right there. She's right there as a physical being. She right there, right? So if I just do that, what if she don't want my legs and my feet and my shoes and all that shit on her? Now I'm inconveniencing. I'm putting her in an inconvenience just by doing what I want to do. If I want to stretch out, I need to find a way where I can stretch out without inconveniencing her, because she having her own experience the same way I'm having my own experience. The same way I might want to stretch out, she might not want nobody feet and legs on her. Ain't neither one of us wrong, but how do we decide what we do? You know what I'm saying? So like, I just look at existence like that, man, and in a lot of ways, I see we don't necessarily think like that. Like, we just kind of do what we want to do, and everybody else kind of got to get in where they fit in. And to some extent, I respect that. I really do. To some extent, I respect that.
The issue with my bad. Continue.
To some extent, I respect that. But at the end of the day, I can't. I know enough. I know better than to live like that, because I'm one of the people that's considerate, and I'm gonna consider people. But you can say what you're gonna say.
Trying to remember now. The get in where you fit in part. So many people nowadays get in where they fit in. Like, everybody trying to get in where they fit in. Everybody, including me. Everybody's trying to get in where they fit in, trying to find their spot. Light off in that spot off in that light, however that line go. Bullshit, pull shit.
Yeah.
But the issue with that is, because everybody trying to get in where they fit in, a lot of people jumping in a spot where they actually don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
And it causes issues. It ruffles feathers. And a lot of people like to be in a spot that they actually don't belong in, because that's just where they want to be. I'm getting in where I fit in, but I'm fitting in where I want to fit in it, and not necessarily where you actually should or are better suited for.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
That's a bar now.
Nah, we don't always know what those places, things are, whatever. which is why you have to get in those spots to ruffle feathers for you to learn. But now once you done learned, you need to go and hop your ass on up out of there and go get where you need to be. Cause how else this wing gonna fly?
Yeah.
So get in your drum spot, or they get in their flat spot. Get in your spot so we can go and flap like we need to flap.
Yeah.
So it once you done figured it out, now go move on so this next person in line can get what they need to be to place their order, and not get hit by oncoming traffic that's actually in the line that they supposed to be in.
Yep.
That might be a little whimsical and metaphorical. I don't know why I keep using that word. I don't even know if metaphorical is a word.
It
But
is. It is.
But all of that go together, in my opinion. So, I mean, you just get in where you fit in, do the best you can with fitting in. But once you realize that puzzle piece don't fit, you got to find out where it go. Sit that one off to the side. Those circles don't fit right here.
And I think it's important to just know yourself. Like, I think self-awareness is one of them things we completely undervalue. Like, as a species, I think we completely undervalue self-awareness. It's literally the awareness of self. So, like, you said something earlier that made me think about this question. You was like, I know me. And that immediately made me want to ask you, who is me when it come to you? Who is the me that you know? You know what I mean? Like, not saying you got to answer that now. Like, if you can, great. But it wasn't necessarily, it was somewhat rhetorical. But it's just, we all say that. We all say, I know me. And I wonder nowadays, do we really? You know what I mean? Like, do you really know the me you refer to? You know what I mean? Like, because we can learn new shit. I feel like we should learn new shit about ourselves every day. I also feel like we haven't experienced all the experiences in our lives yet that's gonna really bring into focus the me that we say we know. Like, me, this being right here that you looking at. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't experienced everything in this existence that's gonna bring more into focus who I actually am. I think we kind of only really, I think for the most part, we just know our ego. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm at in my journey. You know, I'm thinking that the me that I think I know, I think a lot of that is just my ego, what I chose to identify with, and how I chose to identify myself, and what I believe and what I don't believe. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. A person that's not really aware of themselves is gonna have a hard time coexisting, because you don't know where the lines are. You don't know where your lines are. You know what I'm saying? You don't know where your boundaries sit. You don't know. Some of us don't know where we stop and another person begin, because we're so blurred in our mind as far as like who we are, where we're a little overbearing. Sometimes we go too far over into somebody else's lane because we still don't know where our lane is, you know. And that shit show up in a lot of ways. It's a lot of ways that show up. It ain't like it's one of them things where you can see it just like that. It's like, nah, this shit a little tricky. So it's like, how do we come to a place of knowing self enough where we know, okay, this what I'm responsible for right here. Everything outside of that ain't got nothing to do with me. Or how do we know ourselves enough to be able to properly define ourselves and explain who and how we are to another human being? You know what I mean? Like, do you know yourself enough to be able to sit somebody down and just let them know, like, this is who I am, and it be accurate information? You know what I mean? Like, because it's a lot of shit that I used to think, like, I ain't doing that, I'll never do that, or I don't like that, or or I do like that. Like, it's just a lot of opinions about me that I had, a lot of beliefs I had about myself, strong ones too, and some of them not so strong. Most of them not so strong, but there were some really strong beliefs I had throughout my life that ain't that don't apply at all no more. You know what I mean? Like, shit that just like, damn, I thought I wouldn't never do no shit like that, or I thought I wasn't that person, but here I am doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that's growth. And it's like, we can call people hypocrites, but at the same time, everybody a hypocrite, and we all contradict ourselves. The real question to me is, why and when? Why are you a hypocrite? Why do you contradict yourself? And when are you a hypocrite? And when do you contradict yourself? Because I feel like when you grow, you're supposed to become a hypocrite. That's what growing is. Like, it's people who used to be racist white men. Now they realize the error in their ways. They accept the very people they used to be racist towards. To some of their friends, that might look like a contradiction or like them being hypocritical. But shit, they just grew. They learned new information. I just saw some shit on YouTube about this dude who used to be an atheist, but now he's a believer in Christ. Like, you can say he contradicted himself or he's a hypocrite. Maybe that's true. But in reality, he just grew. And from him growing, from him growing, from him growing, he has a completely opposite belief system than what he used to have. So it's just all these little things, man, that kind of play a part in who we are, how we are, and how we identify who we are. Because I'm at a space with myself. I don't believe I'm a good person or a bad person, and I'm not trying to be neither. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still a small portion of my ego that cares about being good and doing good. You know what I mean? And that's really my heart. That's my heart, and what I was raised to believe is good and bad. But in actuality, everything I think is bad ain't as bad as I think, and everything I think good ain't as good as I think. So it's like, the more I live and the more experiences I have, the more aware I really become of myself, and I'm starting to realize I'm not really none of this shit I thought I was. Like, I'm so much more than what I thought I was. But the interesting thing is, when it comes to self-awareness, are you a drum or a flat? Or are you the whole wing? Or are you the whole chicken? Or are you a completely different meat? Are you meat at all? Like, how do you define yourself? Like, how do you see yourself? Because however you see yourself, you have to find a way to convey that to the other people who see you, because what they see is different from you. You know what I mean? So like it's just so much, man. It's so many small pieces moving at one time when it's two people dealing with each other. It's so many small pieces. Most of them get overlooked for the bigger shit. But all these pieces, though, matter. And they're shifting and moving. And some getting broke and some getting added to the mix. It's just a lot, man. It's a lot, bro. So, like, when I think about these relationships and friendships and business partnerships and just the whole two or more coming together thing, it really do boil down to what's your preference and how self-aware you are of yourself, and how conscious you are of the type of life and experience in life that you want for yourself. And how stubbornly will you cling to it? You know what I mean? Like, how stubbornly will you cling to what you want, even if it ain't for you? If it ain't for you, are you willing to let it go? Or are you going to still stubbornly cling to it because it's hard to let go of something that's been proven to not be for you? Like, it's a lot that go into a lot of this shit. So that's what made me ask that question, though. Like, when it comes to, like, when you were saying, you know me, like, speaking for yourself, when you were saying, you know you, that's just, I don't hear that sentence the same no more. I don't hear it nowhere near like I used to. Even when I say it, I go in my head and like, that ain't true, Carlo. You don't know you. I don't know me. That's something I've come to accept about myself. I don't know me. I know my ego, and I know certain things that God has informed me of about myself. But I don't know me because I'm always growing, I'm always learning, and I'm so vast as a being. Like, I'm not just this physical body you see on this camera right now. Like, I'm so much more than this. You know, I'm not just the words coming out of my mouth because I have so much more in my being to say than this. It's shit that I don't even know how to articulate yet, that I feel strong as fuck, deep as hell. Don't even know how to articulate it yet because it's still areas of myself that hasn't come into focus yet. You know what I'm saying? So like, whoever you are, however you are, wherever you are, I think that the real key important thing is to realize everybody you meet is another you that got their own karmic cycle, that's having their own life experience. It's another you though. The same way you couldn't just come right now and just tell me everything about you, neither can they. The same way you got shit that you hiding, shit that you feel ashamed of, shit that you feel guilty for, shit that you're proud of, shit that you stand for, shit that you'll die for, shit that you are afraid of. Everything you have, every other human you know got their version of the same thing. You know what I mean? And when they say we made in God's image, I really don't think it got nothing to do with sex. I don't think it has anything to do with gender. I think it has to do with that right there. Like, I think it has to do with who we are as spiritual beings. I think it got to do with the fact that we're actually spirits in physical bodies instead of bodies with spirits. It's weird to me now when I say my soul. When I say my soul or my spirit, it's weird to me now in my mind because it's like, it ain't really my soul or my spirit. That's me. You know what I'm saying? Like, to say my soul and my spirit in this physical body, to me, that sounds like I'm saying I am my body, but my body has a spirit and a soul.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, I'm a spirit slash soul, and this is my body.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. This shit, I just see this shit real different, man. But whether you a drums person or a flats person, at the end of the day, nigga, you like chicken. You like chicken.
Get that
Nah,
wang going,
nah,
man. You gotta
nah.
get that thing moving and
That's
functioning
funny,
properly.
nah. That's funny as
What
hell.
part of this are you?
That looks funny as hell. Looking at it on the screen.
And you know, we used to with chicken head. Y'all chicken head that thing. Chicken. Is you a chicken head?
Nah.
You the wang?
Never been a chicken head in my life.
Chicken. Chicken.
But you know, like, where you at though? You know what I mean? And like, can you accept where you at? You know what I mean? Cause like, to be a chicken wing with drums of being a thigh, that can be a bad experience. That can be a terrible life experience.
Of drums of being a thigh?
I thought I said dreams. Well, if I said drums, my bad. But I thought I said dreams of being a thigh.
Oh.
I thought I said that. But if I didn't, nah, I did. But yeah, like, you want to be another part of the chicken, but you are what you are. You know what I'm saying? And you can't. It ain't really nothing you can do about that. You know, so that's why self-awareness is important, because it's like, who are you? What are you? You know what I mean? Because we can judge ourselves and other people for what we think we are and what we think we supposed to be, what we think we supposed to do, and how we think we supposed to move. We can continue doing that. We can play that ego game and just judge everybody and each other. But the best thing I think we could do to have the best experience we could have, you can tell I'm full because I keep like burping and I got gas and shit. But and it's really irritating me. But I'm trying to talk, but it's really irritating me to have to like hiccup and burp and little shit like that right now. But I don't know, man. One of the best things we could do is just accept the whole chicken, man. The whole chicken, bro. You might have your favorite part, but learn how to accept the whole chicken. Learn how to accept that whole wing. Cause these wings good as fuck. These wings is good as fuck. whether it's the drum or not. Them bitches good as fuck, man. And I'm finally getting to a point in my life where I'm accepting it. But also understand too now, accepting it don't mean you gotta like everything.
Yeah, that's
Because
what I was
cause we
say.
live in a fake positive world now, and I don't really fuck with the fake positive movement we on. But we got this because it's just as bad, if not worse, than the negative movement of just everything a conspiracy, cancel culture, everybody bad, and you gotta fucking tear people down to have your way. Like, I don't fuck with that. That's negative culture. But I also don't fuck with the positive culture, which is like everybody supposed to always be happy and hunky dory all the time, and everything supposed to always be good. And if it ain't good, like something wrong. Like, no, that ain't the case. Like, we just watched that episode of Abbott Elementary yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Very, very, very important episode.
Shout out to Abbott Elementary and
Quinta
Brunson.
Yeah, and all them niggas, Tyler, the whole staff, like, y'all doing an amazing job with that show.
That's a dope show.
But like that episode yesterday, when the two girls in the class didn't like each other, and then the woman was like, you have to ask yourself, why are you so uncomfortable with being uncomfortable? And I think about shit like that. Like, I know people like that. I have a version of that for myself. You know, like I'm really good with being uncomfortable in most cases. But there are certain things and certain levels of discomfort that I don't necessarily rock with. And that's where I'm like working on within myself to kind of expand myself to be able to accept that too. But like, it's just one of them things we just gotta realize everybody and everything ain't gonna be sweet. It ain't gonna be sweet. Everything ain't gonna be, you know what I mean? Like, quote unquote perfect. But everything is perfect though. It is perfect already with the good and the bad. But when you try to remove one of them, that's when you get a Frankenstein. You know what I mean? Like, that's when shit ain't right. Like, you're gonna get your drums and your flats. No matter what's your preference, you're gonna get your drums and your flats. So it's like, appreciate what they both offer. You know what I mean? Like, appreciate what they both offer. Them flats do have certain pockets in it that hold like some seasoning and some flavor and shit. Them drums, well, to me the drums juicy. I can't. I don't know. It can be that. You know, I hadn't had that experience. Like, I ain't had no juicy flat, me personally, but I have had some juicy ass drums. You know what I'm saying? And I done had like, I like flats. Like, I like flats. That might not be my preferred piece, but I ain't got no beef with the flat joints. Like, I'm good with them motherfuckers. But like, I just think life is getting to a point where you're happy with your wings. You know what I'm saying? Like, you happy with your wings, man. If you don't have whole wings and you got to pick between drums and flats, cool. But just understand though, when we talking about life, it all come from the same thing. It's all the same shit. It ain't that different, you know?
It's all the same team.
It ain't that different, man. And coming to that place is, I don't know, man. That's a dope ass place to be in life, because you start realizing you don't have to judge everything so much. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's where we got stuck at, as far as like the world. We got stuck in the judgment cycle. Like, we just constantly passing judgment, but ain't nobody like realizing like, hey, we doing a lot of back and forth trying to make stuff be what stuff what you would deem supposed to be. But it's like, well, in this particular situation, this is this because of this and this and this, or in this particular culture, this is this because of this, this and this. You're gonna have to accept it in some way, shape, or form at some point in time. So there can't be judgment. You can have your own opinion. You do have your own experiences, but these other people do too. So at some point in time, you just have to be like, oh, okay, well, okay, and move on. How much is it really affecting you in that, whatever that is? How much is it affecting you? How much is it possibly going to affect you? Is it going to affect you or not? Or vice versa, however you might be affecting the other end or whatever with said judgment or not, or lack of acceptance of it, or
Mm-hmm.
no, or just simply not paying attention to it. So there's that too. It's some people. Hell, Janet Jackson didn't even know what a damn hot Cheeto was. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, hot Cheetos. But damn, did you know a Cheeto? Do you know what a Cheeto look like? Crunchy, puffy. Do you know which you know? She was confused about a hot Cheeto. So I'm in my mind, I'm like, you could easily be confused about this regular Cheeto. So let me break this down. Let me go back to the regular cheese version. And then I'm gonna tell you what the hot Cheeto is and if you would like to try it or not.
And see, that's the thing though. Like
She
where
just
she live, we don't know if they regularly sell Cheetos or eat Cheetos where she from.
she too rich.
Because if you it's certain parts of the country don't have a crystals.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know
like,
what White Castle was really until like I saw it in the grocery store, and I didn't know that it was a legit company. Like it was a restaurant in other places. I still haven't been to a White Castle.
Me neither.
So
you know, shit different. Based off your perspective, shit can be very damn different. And it's like it's a little easier to pinpoint when you got those type of like big cultural shifts. Like the first time I went to the West Coast, they didn't know what the fuck sweet tea was. That was a culture shock for me like a motherfucker. I was at Denny's. I'll never forget that. Denny's was the first place we ate at. And I wanted to get my goddamn waffle shit. No, I got the French toast joint. I got the peach French toast with the goddamn eggs and shit. And I wanted some sweet tea because at the time I ain't want no orange juice for some reason. But I wanted some tea. And they said it was sweet tea. I was like, yeah, y'all don't have sweet tea? It was like, we have iced tea.
and they was confused. Okay, I wasn't with him on this trip. Uh, we went to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked for sweet tea there too. And I had said I didn't see none on this menu, and you was like, I'm gonna ask them anyway just to see, because you never know. The lady didn't know what sweet tea was. She said the same exact thing.
Iced tea?
We have iced tea. She said we have some sugar packets to give you if you wanna, and we just like, no, it ain't even gonna dissolve because the tea is cold already.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want no equate and no what's the name
Splendor.
of sweet and low and splendor. I
Splendor.
don't want none of that in my tea. But they didn't have it, so and they don't know what it is because that's not their culture. That's not what they do. We do that here.
So to go back to the person we saw at Hip Hop and Chicken who were holding up the shit, like Hip Hop Fish and Chicken, who were holding up the line. In our world, with the families we are a part of, if you in a line and it's a long line and the line go up, you supposed to go up too to be considerate to the other people in line, especially if you got people hanging out of the parking lot. But to that other person, we don't know what the fuck kind of culture they come from. That might not be even on their radar. You know what I'm saying? But that's one side of the cube out of 6 sides. I went wrong on the other 5 sides of that cube. Like, just the way I was looking at it. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't no big thing or no shit like that. It wasn't no big thing at all.
It's just an example.
Yeah, just an example and just something that I just talked to her about because I'm just open like that. Like, I'm just open to the point where I share where I'm at with shit. Like, some people like it, some people don't. Drums and flats. But that's who I am. I'm one of them people with the way I'm wired as a human. And a lot of people don't like this. I have not met many people at all in 37 years that like this about me, but I love this about me. I'm not one of them people that you gotta guess where I'm at. You don't have to guess how I feel. You don't have to guess nothing. I'ma let you know. If I got a real issue with something, I'ma let you know. If I really, really like something or I fuck with something, I'ma let you know. Wherever my emotional state and my perception and shit is, I'ma let you know. And I do that, 1, to build trust, 2, to be my authentic self, and 3, to keep down confusion. And I love that about me. But a lot of people don't like that about me. Drums and flats. You know what I mean? But like, and it irritate me. It irritate me when people act like I'm not like that when I know I've always been like that. I've always been like that. My mama can tell you stories from when I was a little kid in second grade and was just like that. I've always been the type of person who was upfront about where I was at. You know what I mean? Like upfront with my feelings, upfront with my thoughts, upfront with my take on things, upfront with my perception, upfront with my perspective, upfront with my experience. I've always been that type of person. But you just have to find people like me, like that. You got to find people who can tolerate it. You know what I mean? Like,
And some people can't. So you might not be a wing person. You might not care about them wings. You might just be a thigh and leg person.
yeah,
You like
yeah,
the dark meat. Okay,
yeah,
well then that is okay, baby.
yeah,
You move on down to the lower part of the chicken, and that's just where you dwell.
yeah,
And it's other specials on this menu for people just like you.
yeah.
And that's okay.
Because everybody
And
don't
there is
eat
a
wings.
time when both of us gonna mingle in this bucket together,
Mm-hmm.
and we gonna be perfectly fine together.
Yep.
But as of right now, we don't, and that's cool. Do you, boo? Cause I'm gonna do me.
Yep. And that's just what it is. That lane shit different day to me.
I can wang it out, or I can
That
chicken
lame
leg.
shit.
How you want me to give it to you?
Yeah.
I can do both.
And see, that's her. Cause that ain't my flavor over here. I don't do all that. I don't do that. That ain't even my style. Wrong funky chicken. I don't chicken head.
Stinky leg.
I don't do
chicken
none of that
leg,
shit,
chicken
nigga.
wang.
Niggas don't
You
dance
wanna
no
call
more.
it.
All they do is this, nigga. I don't do none of that shit. None of that shit. And that ain't no bad thing. If you do or don't do that, it don't really matter. I'm just on the side of niggas that don't do that. You know what I mean?
Whatever
But like,
floats your boat.
but we really got to get to a point though where we can accept these little small differences, man. Cause these differences ain't as big as we think they is. And then even the ones that are big, they serve a purpose. And that's my challenge to y'all. I challenge you today, tomorrow, for the next week, however long. The things that normally would bother you, or the things that would like get up under your skin, or that you would normally say something about, I challenge you to go within yourself in those moments and try to find 3 reasons or 3 ways that you can accept it. Not try to change it and not wish it would change, but just accept it within yourself and find 3 reasons you can even appreciate that it's like that. Just something to think about. I do that with myself. It's something to think about. It's something to think about. Because if you can become more accepting of stuff and not looking at it like I gotta have flats or I gotta have drums, you can appreciate more. And I just got one of these fortunes from I don't really want to say fortunes before. Lack of better words, I'll say that. But I just got one of these quotes from Drinking My Yogi Tea. And it said, you can measure the love you bring to each moment by the joy you experience in each moment. And that ain't what it said verbatim, but that was the point. And that ain't far either. That ain't far. That's damn near verbatim. It might be like maybe 2 words out of place. But I thought on that shit while I was boiling my tea. And I was like, oh, I get it. Because at first I was like, I don't know about that. But I thought about it. And I got to one of the sides of the cube where I saw what they were saying exactly. What they saying is when you approach life with love, you can enjoy every moment. You can have joy in each moment. Because when you're approaching it with love, you're not being judgmental. You're not so busy judging the moment or judging stuff in the moment. So if you got wings, right, and you are a flat person, if you a flat person, right, that's just your preference. But you got these wings and you got drums and flats in it. If you just enjoy the flavor of the wings and just enjoy that you have them and you enjoy how they taste with your fries or whatever sides and your drink, if you just enjoy your food instead of focusing so much on, is this a drum? Is this a flat? Is this? Is this that? If you can just enjoy the experience of eating the food, it's a better experience. But if you're going into it with a judgmental mentality, it gotta be flats. I only eat flats because XYZ. It gotta be flats, 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 flats. If that's the way you are experiencing the experience, then you're not gonna have joy in that experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're wrestling with controlling the experience. You're too busy trying to control the experience, even if you're not actively trying to change it, but you're too busy focusing on your desire to be able to change it and what you wish was different, that you can't appreciate what you have. I have my times when I sit and look and I realize, like, damn, like I was so I was so in my head during the experience with judgments, or sometimes trying not to judge. Sometimes I kind of remove myself from a situation just by checking myself in my mind and getting out of the judgment space. And sometimes that removed me from the experience a little bit. It detached me a little bit. But and I'm working on that too. But to be all the way honest, I'm really just getting to a point where just like, bro, just flow how you flow, bro. And just make sure you maintain presence of mind. But no, that's just something to consider, man. Maybe we don't have to judge everything. Maybe we don't have to place a label on everything. Maybe we can just accept that everything is as it is and just focus on getting whatever it is that we're supposed to get from the experience, and just approach life that way. What if that's the best way we could live? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if that's the approach to life that'll make that whole shit like way better for all of us. But that's what Yogi told me. That's what Yogi told me, man. Yogi told me the love you bring to an experience is you'll know that based off of the joy you experience in the experience in that moment. And that's some real shit. That's some really real shit.
And you saying that made me think about this. I have a friend who passed away not too long ago. I've known him since about kindergarten or first grade. Arthur Butler.
Mm-hmm.
He was he basically had childhood cancer. Like growing up, he basically has had the fight of his life from a baby up until 34 years of age, basically. And and he dealt with a lot physically, but he showed so much love even in the midst of him dealing with what he dealing with. So he chose to experience exactly what he wanted to experience, even though what he was going through might not be comfortable, might not have been what he actually wanted, what he set out to have, because it was a lot of changes that he would have to do throughout life, physically, how he maneuvered, where he lived, and all of that. And just that alone, having to just really accept what is and just be happy with what is, because it's just stuff out of your control no matter how much you try to do.
Yep.
That is the ultimate strength to me. Another reason why I'm bringing this up, other than tie into what you just said, I'm not sure when his funeral is. I have a good feeling it was today. And even if it was, like, I would have liked to have gone, but it's okay if I didn't, because of the simple fact I know that I had a good friendship with my friend. So to slightly dedicate this episode to him, and to also put the message out to let's not judge so harshly of ourselves and other people, because another lesson that I've had this week, and Carlo had to remind me and teach me of this earlier this week, is to stop judging myself so hard.
Yeah, man.
So we can fly these wings and use these wings the way they are needed at whatever time is necessary, if we just allow them to be. not judge so harshly because this feather look a little different from the other, or this wing got a little bit more feathers than this one because this one have been in a little bit more fight, but baby, I can still flap.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just stop judging situations and things so harshly, we even slightly judged these wings when we first got them. Cause we like, dang, we didn't get all the seasoning that we want on it, but they were still good. We didn't let that be like, that's nasty.
Exactly.
That was good.
Exactly.
Cause we knew it was a chance that it might not have been the way we wanted them, but we ordered exactly what we wanted, and they was hot and fresh.
Yep.
So, along with Arthur, and along with what you said, and along with the message, I am thankful for the lesson. I am happy to even share the lesson with you guys, or to the little bit that we know on it, and hopefully you guys can help us as well. Leave some comments, share the video, give your opinion on what your experience is in life, and we can really move through this thing together as we're learning how to not judge as much and to accept one another as we move through this thing called life. And as well as my friend Arthur did, as strong as he has really shown his strength and resilience in his life, and love with every bit of being that I know him to have. So with that, thank you, Arthur. I love you.
Love you too, bro. Cause I know he loved us.
And I'm trying not to cry. He loved us. But even that, just accepting that I'm hurt that he gone, but I'm very happy at the love that he shared as a friend. Yeah. So, including his family, because I feel like a part of his family, although I was never around him like that. So, much love. I pray for peace and strength for his mama, brother, and dad, as well as the rest of his family, like his aunties and everything. So, but and he didn't judge, not to my knowledge. He did, but he used it as a form of comedy too. So because he was a comedian. But yes, let's judge less, let's accept more, and let's love more in this whole process that we call life.
And I gotta say this about Arthur, cause I ain't know him like that. But I gotta say this. Thank you, man. Thank you for. I'm thankful for what he represented. I'm thankful for the example. I'm glad that I was able to get the example of him. He was an example to me. Like, he was going through so much, man. But when we visited him that day, and I got to know him a little more, I could see his strength clear as day. And I could see, like, damn, bro, go through a lot, but he really don't let that shit, like, he didn't let that shit run his show.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
It never has.
He didn't let it run his show, man. Man, if I can get a quarter of that, if I can have a quarter of that type of gumption and strength that he had, like, hold on. Fucking sun's setting. We really just gonna have to buy lights. Like, we're gonna have to buy lights now, cause I can't always be doing this. But I don't know. Like, I don't know, man. It just, I don't have no sad tears for Arthur, because despite how he had to live with his situation, he lived. You know what I'm saying? And not only did he live, but like, he made an impact. I know he made an impact. I know for a fact he inspired more people than he knew. I know that I'm not the only person who was moved by his strength. You know what I mean? So, in my mind, in my opinion, I only want to say kind of halfway dedicate the episode. Like, nah, nigga, we dedicate the episode to Arthur. Because Arthur fucked with us. Like, he loved you. He loved both of us. But he definitely loved you because y'all had more of a relationship. But he really supported what we did. You know what I mean? Like, really supported what we did. Genuinely. Not fake support. He genuinely supported what we did. And I think it's partially because he could see a little of him in us. You know, he could see that we we connected for a reason. You know what I mean? Like you connect for a reason, man. Everybody we connect with in life, we connecting with them for a reason. It's something about them that's like us, and that's why we're connected. Everybody you connected to. It ain't nobody you connected to where it's just like they completely different and ain't got nothing in common with you. Like we like to act like we better than people or less than people or different and all that. We not that different, bro. We not that different, bro. There are differences, yes. Drums and flats. There are differences, but it ain't that serious, bro. It's all on the same wing. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to dedicate the episode to Arthur. Like ain't no halfway kind of sort of like nah.
I don't say that because we ain't talk about it, and I'm just
I,
kind of flying off with it.
I know,
But
I know, but that's why I came behind you and said that because I already know that's your thought process. This shit dedicated to Arthur, nigga. So shout out to Arthur, man. Um, the real Batman.
yeah,
The real Batman, dog.
Batman, aka Petty Coleman.
The
like,
real Batman, dog. Like that nigga a hero, dog. That boy a hero. He a hero, man. And to me, right, the reason why I kind of teared up a little bit, other than the fact that I'm picking up on what you feeling, but the thing I think about when it comes to Arthur and people like Arthur, and I think about this with the slaves too, and I'm not gonna lie, it hurt, but like I don't know, I just be thinking about, man, it's hard to have a lifelong fight, man. Like we all have one, everybody got one, but it's different though when like your whole life you having to fight with your physical body. You know what I'm saying? Like your like all the doctor visits, all the surgeries and procedures, all of the uncertainty. I can only imagine how many nights he might have went to sleep and been scared he wasn't gonna wake up. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I don't understand that part of existence because I've been blessed to not have to deal with that. But that's real though. Like I think about that. Like when I think about slavery, like I think about the people who were born slaves and they never got to go fishing. They never got to play for real, for real. Like most of their lives was slavery. You know, it's so much they didn't get to enjoy as free human beings. God made free human beings. So like I don't know, man. I think about shit like that, and it hurt. It hurt. I ain't gonna lie, that shit hurt. But at the same time, too, I know God got a purpose for everybody. I know everybody has sunshine in their life. No matter what your situation is, you still experience sunshine. You still experience pretty days. You still experience love. You still experience happiness. So it's not like Arthur or anybody else didn't experience happiness. I just can empathize and feel for, especially with Arthur since I knew him personally. I can just feel for like, damn, like I know there were things in life he wanted that he didn't get because of his situation and his life purpose. And there's a part of me that hurt about that. And then there's another part of me that's proud of him for how he handled it.
And what you said made me think of this. Everybody's joy is different.
Yep.
So, and it feels different. It looks different. Depending on what they experience in their life, their experience of joy could be a whole lot deeper than what yours have been in that particular moment in your life, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of go back to the accepting part and just accepting what is with your life and just genuinely being happy and at peace with whatever it is. Like I'm very thankful we was able to get the food that we wanted today and it was good how we wanted it, and I enjoyed it. It tasted exactly like I wanted it to. Maybe not exactly because I wanted the extra seasoning, but it was still good because of the seasoning. I still got some seasoning.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was nothing on there.
And it looked like it's some seasoning off up in that thing.
It
Probably
is.
can't.
It just the steam. Yeah. So it's like, although I do know what you spoke, well, to some degree, what you spoke on. Like I understand what your side of it and where you coming from, when it come down to people and how you would think they would, the things that they could have experienced that they might not have, and all of that.
Just how hard it is to live in certain shoes.
Because I don't know if I could handle that.
Exactly.
But he was able to, and was able to show us, like, this is how you handle this, and this is how I handle it, and this is the gifts that God gave me to use, and this is how I've done my job. So with that, I just find myself being more thankful for things that I didn't even think of when I was little. Like I'm a whole lot more thankful for just the more simple, small things. Even down to just a simple text. I got a text from a friend the other day that I ain't really legit spoke to in a couple of years. She done changed her number and everything. She told me some good news about herself that she really haven't shared with nobody, but she wanted to make sure to share with me. And I was thankful for that because she didn't have to. I didn't ask her to. I didn't even look for it. But thank you for sharing that piece of joy with me because you felt the need to do that. So shout out to Amber Shepherd. Psh, still not going to tell till you're ready to tell. But life, man, you really have to learn how to take the good with the bad. And there is also good in them bads, and there is also bad in them goods, yin and yang. You really have to take it all in stride. So
take your drums and your flats and eat your ass off.
Basically, like, you might not can handle that drum right now, but you can handle that flat right now. When you're ready for that drum, you can eat it. You know what I mean? Like, it everything serves its purpose.
I ain't gonna lie, I gotta disagree a little bit on that.
I figured, I felt it.
Well, damn, it wasn't that serious.
I know, but I still felt it.
But now I just say that because it's always drums and flats. That's what yin and yang is. You can't. It can't be yin and yang without drums and flats. There's no way it can be yin and yang and all you got is flats. The drums and the flats is the yin and the yang. So it's like you don't really have a choice on whether or not you can handle that drum right now. That drum there and that flat there. You don't in life now. We ain't talking about actual wings no more. We talking about life. And life, you know what I mean?
It made what I said sounded contradicting, so I get it. But
like you them drums and flats are always there. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I say, like, man, take your drums, take your flats, and eat your ass off.
I guess what I was trying to explain was, like, you also have to accept, like, hey, I might not can eat all of this. Like, I know it's here, but you also have to come to an acceptance with yourself too. Like, I got this, I see this, I accept that this is here. And it's not like I'm not gonna handle it. I just let me pace myself, if that makes sense. But it might still be contradicting. Anyway, that's a whole nother metaphor. I mean, I'm really not trying to dive into that deeply.
I'm not saying it's contradicting. I'm just acknowledging, like, in life you always have yin and yang, aka drums and flats. So it's not really something we don't have a choice. There's really no choice in it. You know, that's all I was more so speaking to. Like, it ain't really a choice in that. You know what I mean? Like, it's different eating wings, but in real life though, it really ain't no choice. You don't get to choose your drums, your flats. You don't choose how many of which. You don't get to choose none of that. You just choose, are you gonna enjoy what you have or not? You know, you can complain about the drums, you can complain about the flats, or you can just eat your ass off and enjoy what you got, you know, however it comes. you don't always like. There's no timeout button in life. You can't hit timeout and be like, hold up, timeout. I ain't ready for that right there yet. Like this shit, like, bro, this shit comes and it come nonstop. So like that's more so what I was speaking on. I wasn't even thinking on no contradictory type shit. But if it is a contradictory, cool. But I just wanted to point out to the people watching that in life you don't get to choose your drums and your flats, because they both come together. In life, you get whole wings. You get whole wings in life, you know. So it's like, man, eat that shit, man, and enjoy this shit while you got this shit. Cause you don't know if you gonna you don't know if you can go back and get another plate. You don't know if you can get another plate. So just enjoy what you got on your plate. Make peace with it, whether drums, flats, or both. You know, wherever you at, man, just make peace with it. And it's funny because wings come in pieces. But I don't know. That's just where I was at.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Arthur was a person who had made peace with whatever he was dealing with physically. But boy, I can tell you on the outside, from the person on the outside looking in, looked like he made peace to me.
Mm-hmm.
That man made do and was still living out here, jobs, and would let us know about concerts that was going on, and yet that man lived to me to the best that he knew how and the best that he could. So, and that in itself is a strength that I don't even know. It doesn't look like a lot of us have. But in due time.
Mm-hmm.
So, shout out to Arthur, man.
Shout out to Arthur, man. On that note, man, I think that's a good note to conclude the episode. Where you at? You got more you want to say?
I'm good. I'm tired of slanging these wings at y'all. You either gonna eat them or you ain't.
Basically. But with that said, man, I'm Seafood Joe.
I'm Briley.
We Blight Love, man, and we thank y'all for tapping in to this episode of Lane Shit Different Day, man. And always, thank God.
Girl, let me tell you,
Your sisters are equal, not above or beneath you.
Guess what?